Hi everyone, my name is Dyondzo Kwinika, also known as Bantu Stevens, and I am one of the top 10 authors for the DALRO Themba Award. Honestly, it's just about, being in a space where really work is taken seriously. I think that's rare, having people who are actually reading the work, who are actually seeing what we're trying to do. And I think that has been one of the real gifts for me. I think for me, it has made me more quieter on the page. As an author, I've learned to be patient. I'm learning to trust the silences, the spaces between things. And instead of like always trying to fill them up, I think there are many pieces of advices that resonated with me, but one specific advice came from our chief editor, who said something about, not resolving things too neatly. And, that stayed with me. I think, as an author, I needed the permission to let things remain open, unresolved, just like in real life. But I think also one of the advices that stood out for me, it was to always try to strike a balance in how certain emotions are portrayed in order to drive the story forward. I think first of all, I did not expect the whole experience to be collaborative, but I think, I just came thinking that it was just the story, it was my voice, but I've learned that it wasn't all about that. It was more of like, how can we kickstart a conversation? So it was just, a slow back and forth. I think, they've shaped how much, I've learned to hold back, how sometimes restraint is power. And I think I'm learning, to say less, in a way, not to give everything away, but to also allow the reader to engage with my writing, at that level. Definitely, I think there was a point where I deleted a whole paragraph, something like I'd really clung to, I think, from the first draft when I made the submission, and suddenly there was something that really changed about the scene. It was like it just breathed, it just had that life about it. And I think that really felt like one of the turning points for me in the competition. I completely, I used to, I think most authors or most of us as writers, we treat editing, like a cleanup, but I think now I see it more of like sculpting, shaving away certain parts of the wood, until the shape starts to emerge. So I think that's one of the things that I've learned, and that has changed, from on how I approach editing and revising my work. It is grounding. Everyone's writing is writes from a different, places, different lives. But I think we are the aim of writing, or the aim of why we try to do these things, is to try to get to a place of honesty, and I think that is one of the things, that sort of bring about solidarity in just being part of the top 10 writers. I think, I'm looking forward to the story being out there, firstly, and learning to let it go, and see what it'll become with or without me, and to see how other people are going to engage with it, outside me, or outside how I engage with it as its own writer. Wow, I think the first thing is, is to stay open, listen more than you talk, and don't be afraid to rewrite sometimes everything, even the parts that really, feel sacred. I think one of the things as a writer, you want to keep to your work, so I feel like sometimes just to be open-minded can really drive your story where it needs to go. And I think that's one of the things that I've learned from this writing experience and just being part of the top 10. And yeah, it's me, Dyondzo Kwinika again, aka Bantu Steven, one of the top 10 authors for the DALRO Themba Merit Award, and it has been a great pleasure to be with you. Till next time.